In the 10th century, among the icy fjords and thunderous gods of Scandinavia, a scream tore through the trees. It was not the cry of a man in battle, but the final wail of a woman whose name still haunts the sagas. Her name was Gunhild. Gunhild was not born into silence. She was born into storm. The daughter of the infamous Erik the Red, the red-bearded terror of Greenland. Gunhild inherited more than her father's fierce eyes. She carried his fire. From a young age, she defied every expectation of a Viking woman. While other girls learned to weave and sing, Gunhild learned to wield the axe and read the runes of war. She trained beside the sons of Jarls, her braid whipping in the wind as she sparred, shouted, and laughed in the face of pain. By the time she was 15, she'd already stood in shield walls. At 18, she had taken her first life. At 20, her name was spoken with awe in the long halls of the north. She was no shield maiden in poetry. She was flesh and blood, muscle and steel. And yet, it was not on the battlefield that her fate would be sealed, but in the sacred grove of her enemies. The clan of Erik the Red was powerful, but power breeds enemies like corpses breed flies. To the east lay the Wolf clan, hunters, raiders, and bitter rivals to Erik's bloodline, led by chieftain Hakon the Black, a man as cruel as he was cunning. They waited for a chance to strike at Erik's heart. That chance came on the first full moon of autumn. Gunhild had led a small raiding party to retrieve stolen goods from a border village. It was supposed to be a swift strike, but the Wolf clan had been waiting. Ambush. The battle was fierce, and Gunhild fought like a fury. But even the mightiest shield cracks under enough weight. Outnumbered and bloodied, her warriors fell. She was captured, bound in iron, her face smeared with ash and blood. They did not kill her quickly. No. Chieftain Hakon had a different plan, one that would send a message to all of Scandinavia. Deep in the forest of their lands, the Wolf clan had a sacred grove, blessed, they claimed, by the god Odin himself. No one entered without purpose, and no one left without death. It was here that they brought Gunhild. Word spread quickly. Warriors, thralls, and seers gathered like crows around Carrion. Hakon stood before them, his voice like thunder. This is no mere sacrifice. This is the blood of Erik the Red. Let the gods witness. The Wolf clan fears no line, no legacy. The crowd roared. Gunhild, battered but unbroken, met his eyes. She spat blood at his feet. You fear me enough to bind me. That is all the gods need to know. Hakon's jaw clenched. But the ritual began. A pyre was built in the center of the grove, tall, grand, fit for a queen, or a warning. The seeress sang songs of death, her voice shrill, her hands dripping with the blood of black goats. Runes were carved into the wood, oil was poured. The gods, they claimed, demanded a spectacle, and so, bound at the wrists and ankles, Gunhild was dragged forward. As she was tied to the stake, Gunhild did not scream. She did not beg. She stared at the skies, daring the gods to answer. The flames licked her boots first, then her legs, then her tunic. Only then did her screams begin, deep, ragged, and furious. But there was no fear in them. There was defiance. The gods did not weep. The chieftain did not flinch, but the forest remembered. The ravens circled. The wind changed. And a legacy was born from ash. Gunhild's death was not the end. It was the spark. When word reached Erik the Red, it is said he shattered a drinking horn with one hand. Then, in silence, he began to sharpen his axe. He summoned his kin, his allies, every loyal warband from Greenland to Iceland. They came not for conquest, but for vengeance. What followed was a blood feud that tore through the north like a winter storm. Villages burned, longships clashed. The sacred grove was defiled. its trees cut down, its priests slaughtered. Hakon the Black fought like a beast, but in the end, even beasts bleed. He was captured, nailed to the same pyre he'd built for Gunhild, and burned alive under the eyes of his enemies. But Erik did not stop there. He swore that no child of the Wolf clan would ever bear arms again. The clan was hunted, erased, their names struck from stones and sagas, yet Gunhild's name was carved deeper than ever. Gunhild's story is not just one of fire and blood. It is the story of a woman who stood tall in a world that tried to silence her, who faced gods, men, and monsters without blinking. She reminds us that even in the most brutal corners of history, courage can burn brighter than the flames meant to destroy it. And though her bones turn to ash, her name rides the wind across the fjords to this day.